We see the rise, the true north, strong and free, from far and wide. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free.
Congratulations, Canada!
Yay!
Woo! Yeah! Good evening, everybody. It's time to laser up. Let's talk to fuck you. What's happening, everybody? A little time for a little bit of evening ice. Evening ice doesn't sound too bad by itself, but the other thing we're coming up with it. And with me, none other than the devious one, introducing him first for a change, because, of course, he's wearing the gold. None other than Toronto, deviously delicious Dave Rose. And from the Windy City, nothing but Chicago, Dead on Dave. They're here to talk to me about not only Canada's gold medal win last night, which is a very exciting game. But we're also going to talk about Randy Carlyle. I was probably smarter to go with Carlyle. Twitter, the radio, anything happen to do in hockey land is just simply exploding with the news and firing, and somewhat of a surprise firing of Randy Carlyle. We'll be getting at this. But first, let's talk about something a little more positive. A great game last night. I actually couldn't sleep. Ended up turning it on, watching it up until the last minute, and I fell asleep, and then I had to get up and watch it again. Canada takes Russia 5-4 after an absolute explosion in the second period. They looked like they had it all but wrapped up, but you got to give those Russian kids some credit. They didn't give up, and they fired right back.
Didn't I say that?
What's that?
It's like they were playing out of fear or something.
Yeah.
I called that the last show. I said the Russians, don't count the Russians out, and I was scared of the Russians when I said that, and last night I was scared too.
Oh, I bet. And I think that added to the excitement a little bit. I mean, you could just see those kids were crushed. I mean, look, we'd all be crushed in a scenario like that, but both teams wanted it. That's what made the game great. I tell you something. They, the Canadians, the Russians wanted it. They went after the Canadians, and it's usually the other way around. And they let them know, look, we don't care if we're on the small ice. You can sit there and make fun of our defense all you want. We're going to take it to you physically with skill. But again, Canada shows they're just a little bit better. It's with that tiny country, that tiny hockey country is always able to do, whether it's the Americans or the Russians, definitely the best two teams in the world. At every level, Canada show you they're just a little more diverse. They're just a little better. And it says a lot for Canadian hockey. And you know what? I just was really impressed with those Russian kids all around. Great tournament all around. Even when the Canadians beat Slovakia, the opposing goalie in true Canadian fashion, got a standing O. this was great. This is a display for Connor McDavid. On the American side, Larkin, who got drafted by the Detroit Red Wings. Boy, the rich get richer if they're getting that kid.
Right?
This has been great tournament. Outside of Montreal, where nobody bought tickets. But, I mean, I have never been this into a junior tournament. I'll go to you first, Denon, because I know you got a lot, Dave Rose. But, Denon, Dave, what'd you think? Did you enjoy what you saw?
Yeah, it was a great game, man. I mean, it was exciting. Most analysts are calling it the greatest gold medal game in junior hockey history. I don't know if that's a little bit of a stretch because I've really never watched them before, but it was impressive. These kids really put on something special. It's almost like the Russians know that Putin no likey the silver.
You know what? It's almost like these kids knew history on both sides. It's like the Summit Series came back for us all. And, the Canadians and the Russians really knew what this meant for hockey. Let's put politics aside on this one. This meant a lot to the two. I mean, there's a lot of Russian hockey pride. I know I've said a lot of horrible things about Vladimir Putin and Russian in general, but I would never say anything bad about the players.
No, absolutely not.
Or the people, unless... they supported, a maniac like that, but that's another thing.
Absolutely love the fan responses, by the way, in the crowd. Absolutely love the fan responses. The emotion that was throughout the stadium was incredible. Every goal that the Russians scored in that 3-minute span just seemed to just take the wind out of every single fan in the stadium. It was beautiful TV to watch. It really was.
And I tell you, I was watching it actually on a stream. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not telling the truth or not. And then I had Twitter on the right side, and when they scored that goal, it was just funny to watch my hockey just, But I mean, great game all up. Like to see. I love the five hole goal from Connor McDavid. Max Domi looking like he's going to be. I mean, every year this kid from whether it's the juniors or drafted. I mean, he may be a star in the NHL. They thought he'd be okay in the NHL, but Max Domi is looking like he's going to be a little more than just a role player in the NHL. We'll see his size. He definitely has a lot of skills, nice hands, ability to pass, and apparently ability to put it in the net. Also like to give back a big shout out to my New York Ranger Anthony Duclair, who also played for Team Canada. He has a great year with the Rangers so far. He's done he's a great playmaker. Had the first goal of the game right off the bat, and he got the news that the Rangers are sending him down immediately. He's going back to junior, even though he played a bunch of games for the Rangers and actually made their training camp. But you know what? That might not be the worst thing in the world, Dewey. You're a young guy. I know that's got to be the worst after winning a gold medal, what have you. Now, let's go flip to Dave Rose because, of course, he has a unique and personal perspective about it. How did you feel about the game? And how do you feel? I mean, you got to feel good about these kids coming up. I like these kids. I like these boys. A lot of heart, a lot of spirit, and we might be looking at one of the best hockey players ever in his infancy. Dave Rose?
Here's the Dave Rose review.
Okay.
First off, let's start off by shouting out Jason Johnson and Lauren Darkin there in the chat. Always great to have you guys along for this. So, for everyone who doesn't know, who hasn't been listening for the last 10 minutes or so, Canada won at the 2015 IIHF World Junior Championship. Woo! 5-4 in a game that has been repeatedly called a game for the ages, as well as a nail biter. That is exactly what I said to Matt Gassar as soon as the game ended. And he said he had no nails left. The fact is that it was an amazing game. It was not as close. It was not as it was in previous years. The Russians had a great chance to basically win that game.
Sure. Thankfully,
Canada held on, but it was just incredible. Canada came out in the first 23 seconds with a goal, and then a little more than 2 minutes afterwards, their next goal. But in the third period, though, not only did Canada get 3 goals, but the Russians got 3 goals and made it 5-4. That last period, no goals scored, but it was a tight one. And I mean, I was getting nervous. I was like, I had to mute sometimes. I had to pace. I mean, I was quite concerned yesterday with the game because I knew it was not going to be an easy run for Canada. And the arena, ACC, was packed, including with the Prime Minister of Canada, Stephen Harper, there, with all his guys around him. You could see during the interview he had all his special Secret Service guys around him and all. But they interviewed him all, and he's big into hockey as well. But not one seat was empty. On Twitter, you could see that seats were being scalped for thousands of dollars and stuff.
Wow, that's great news.
But the fact is, there was not an empty seat in the house, which is great to see. Mm-hmm. And just as you said previously, and as I've said on at least another occasion on this show, is that I'm just so happy and so positive and optimistic about the future of hockey, about the future of the NHL, for the most part, and of Canadian players, because you saw all the great, amazing plays that the Canadians did, not to put out the Russians, but Max Domi is going to make his father's career pale in comparison to his.
That's a statement.
I actually, it was definitely a nail biter. And if I have to put a little bit of a damper on it, I got to be honest with you. I don't know much junior hockey history. I have a little tough time believing. Now, while the game was super exciting, best game of all time, I'm kind of like on Dave like that. Like, you guys kind of blew a huge lead after dominating.
Who said the best game of all time?
I just seen a lot of people write about it.
David actually said that some people had said that in the media, and I agree with Dave that this wasn't the best game ever. It was a great game.
It was
best
a great game.
ever? No.
It's a nail biter. But the reason it was a good game was because there was a defensive breakdown and a little bit of a collapse late in the second period. And then they barely held on in the third, which says something about Canadian coaching. It says something about Canadian defense. I think it says a lot. I mean, there's a lot of NHL talent out there.
Then again, maybe the Russians decided to up their game.
Sure.
So it might not have been a crack in the foundation of the Canadians. But
only that one spurt, and they weren't able to do it for an entire period. It was tough.
They fought pretty hard in Canada. Canada fought as hard to keep him out of the net as maybe even a little more than Russia fought to put it in the net in the third. The third period and there was no goal scored, and it was very exciting.
Yeah, so I think the third period says more about the Canadian team as a whole than that second period breakdown. That third period speaks way more volumes about what the Canadian team
that
is
is
worth.
Absolutely that is absolutely a good point. All right, to come back after sort of a drop in things,
hard to
when
do.
things fall off, and then to play solid hockey after. I mean, it would be nice if they scored a goal and keep them out. Does say a lot about these kids.
Sure.
And I'm really happy for them. Hey, listen, everybody, if you liked the montage that I put together before the thing, you can check it out. It unlocks right here on the Shot from the Point channel at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is in full HD. So please check that out if you like. We'll also be posting it on Shot from the Point Hockey on both Facebook and Google Plus if you haven't checked that out and what have you. If you notice, I am locked out the phone calls today. Nothing personal, guys. But there's just a lot of stuff. We're already we're already halfway through the show, and I just want to get to these guys and their opinions because there was a very big happening today, of course, in Toronto. Randy Carlyle is let go in a little bit of a surprise. There were rumors that maybe he was in trouble, but for it to come so suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere after the new year, Randy Carlyle was let go. Dave Rose, how is the media handling this situation?
Wow, it's blown up. It's all over the place. There's comments left and right as to what it means, why it was done at this point, and whether or not if it was even necessary. Now, just to let you know, a lot of people here in the city not only applauded the action, but are saying that more needs to be done.
Sure, I would agree with you.
There's also others that actually disagree with the move and blame the management and or the players. So I would say there's three camps right now that are going nuts in the media, and those are the ones that are applauding the action but seem to think that should be sufficient. Those that think that there should be more cleaning of house, and then those that think quite the opposite, that this is not Carlisle's problem, and in fact is Shanahan, Nonis, and others within the institution.
You know, Shanahan just got there, so he's going to get an automatic pass. But here's the thing that you might not like, as just knowing the type of Leafs fan you are. Carlisle may have been, at least according to the Hockey News, the last voice that is not 100% analytics oriented. And if you really think about some of the hirings, Kyle Dubas and others, Shanahan really changing over the summer, the upper management, Carlisle may have been the last guy. But at the same time, Carlisle does seem to favor speed over strength. And
Some of the stuff that I heard is that he didn't communicate well with certain players, or they didn't get along with certain players, and this is sort of like what we were talking about on the previous episode. That has nothing and should have nothing to do with it. But also, some people were saying is that he had a great relationship with Kessel, and he was able to make him work. So the thing is that the comments
couldn't make him diet. Tell you that. Funny though. Couldn't fucking get him off the buffet line.
That's what I call him. I call him fill him up on the buffet Kessel.
Fill him up on the buffet Kessel. So I mean, I don't really know how to take this. I got mixed emotions about it.
Let me give you more insight, though. I know we're limited on time, but let me give you some more insight. That these are tweets that I've seen being posted and stuff. So, for example, they're saying that, oh my God, Randy Carlisle is fired. Finally, best news to wake up to. Another one is, ding dong, the witch is dead. Randy Carlisle fired and gone. Another one is, they finally fired Randy Carlisle. God bless. There's another one that says, let's see here. This is great news to wake up to. There's another one where they're showing two players, Leaf players, that are basically jumping up off the ice and embracing themselves, I guess after a win or something. And underneath it says, when Randy Carlisle gets fired. So it's hilarious that all over social media,
really happy. Everybody's really happy that Randy Carlisle got fired, even though it's probably the culture in the locker room that's the problem. Granted, maybe Randy Carlisle couldn't change that, but what? No.
That's the thing, though. That's only a certain portion of that, because, like I said, there's another camp that says they disagree with that. One of these comments here is, firing Randy Carlisle will surely change what firing Ron Wilson, Paul Maurice, and Pat
so we have an Edmonton situation.
Hashtag Leafs logic.
All right, yeah.
We're not totally crazy here in Toronto.
No, I know.
Like myself,
it does
understand where it's coming from.
Look, let's listen to the general manager. It's one of the managers. I don't know who the hell this is in the Maple Leafs, and let's hear what he has to say. I got some of the stuff right here.
Randy's he's a
David Nonis.
As gruff as you might think he is. He's a very intelligent man. He understands the game. He understands our situation, and it wasn't an extremely long conversation, but it went as well as you would expect from someone who was just being let go. The coach is part takes part of the responsibility. Coach is easy to let go.
Yep.
That's the easy change to make. We all have to take some responsibility, players included. But we did this to try to improve our group. This isn't again throwing in the towel. It's we feel that this team has a chance to do some good things, and today was the first step in trying to push our team back in that direction. It's not about one game or one stretch. We felt that.
All right, this is the typical word.
That we had to make that change.
Yeah, well, we're responsible too, but nobody's more responsible than Randy Carlisle. Yeah, I get it. I mean,
and many people in the media are saying that this is they're making Randy Carlisle a scapegoat. This is not sure. You're only getting at the surface of the problem.
I'm going to tell you what's really going on. And then we're going to move
from someone living in Germany telling us how it is in Toronto.
I'll tell you what's going on. There's an analytics takeover, and he was the last fucking thing in the way. And now Shanahan's got all his pieces in place. He took out the last one. He waited to a losing stretch and he canned the guy. That's probably more than likely
what happened. It's exactly what happened.
Because let's break this down simply. Let's just look at the way the corporate world works.
Hold on, before you do, I just want to say two last Twitter comments that I think give a great perspective.
No, I've had enough of Twitter comments.
These are great though.
I got 10 minutes left.
I'm completely against the firing of Randy Carlisle. The team is the problem, starting with the captain, and there's other people that basically call Phaneuf a pylon. So the fact is, there are other people here in Toronto that see the problem for more than what it is. That they realize it isn't just one person they've got to blame.
Dave, we've gone over this ad nauseum. Yeah, I get that, and I got to even get. There's another controversy blowing this with Phil Kessel. Phil Kessel apparently called a reporter an idiot. Let's just take a look at it right now. Somebody actually follows me, and his name is Dale Lemontauk, which I think means mountain. So we'll call him Dale Mountain. We'll call him Dale Mountain. He actually follows me on Twitter, and he actually made this Vine right here of Kessel cursing at a guy for whatever reason. And how come the sound isn't working? Where's my sound? I got apparently Phil Kessel called somebody an idiot, and I actually happen to agree with him.
You're probably an idiot.
Yeah, he definitely was an idiot. I'm surprised I'm not getting sound on this.
Okay.
It's so bizarre.
It's okay to call an idiot an idiot.
Oh, here we go.
It's therapeutic.
You think it's 5? Is that what you're saying? That you're difficult? This guy's such an idiot here. You think it's 500? Is that what you're saying? That you're difficult? This guy's such an idiot here.
All right, look, everybody's getting outraged about this, but I listen to, I read Puck Daddy, I read a lot of different guys. They call guys idiots every day. I just don't see why this could be even mildly outrageous. And let me give you a little. Let me give you a little back on this. It's been suggested that you're a too difficult guy to coach. Is there any truth to that? Phil Kessel, I don't think so, but that's a weird question to ask on a day like that. When a coach got fired. Reporter, well, you're the best player in the team, and the coach got fired. Kessel, well, you think it's my fault? What are you saying? Reporter, I'm saying that people are saying that you're difficult to coach. Then why don't you just come out and say that?
That reporter just basically blamed the firing of Carlisle on Kessel.
The guy's an idiot.
That's what happened.
Kessel responds with, is that what you're saying? Reporter, I'm asking a question. Are you difficult to coach? Of course, he didn't ask him that outright. He asked that. Actually, Kessel had to do his job for him. He had to get the question out of him. Kessel, I don't think so. I play. This guy's such an idiot here. He's always been like that here, and he probably is. I'd love to know who the fuck he is. Good job by. Good job by Dale, whatever his name is, Dale French Mountain, to put that out. It's up to 22,000 loops on Vine. Excellent job. But I got to be honest with you, Harrison Mooney put this in absolute perfect perspective. I'll never understand badgering athletes about public opinion. People say you're an asshole. Do you think you're an asshole? Perfect. It is absolutely refreshing to me that somebody in the mainstream media made sense for once. Thank God. These guys asked these guys stupid questions they couldn't possibly answer under the protection of being a reporter.
Sure.
What kind of ridiculous thing is that to say? Certainly.
Trap question. It's a
certainly.
Trap question.
Look, I don't care. I gotta be honest with you. If Phil Kessel had a hand in getting Randy Carlisle fired, I still think it's a stupid question.
It is, absolutely.
These media guys just make it nuts. Thank God for Harrison Mooney, who may have written my favorite tweet in history. He's actually bringing maybe because all the lefties threw him over the boat, he's bringing sanity back to being, back, or probably was never there to begin with, sanity to being a reporter. Jesus Christ. Who could answer a question like that? Hey, do you think you're an asshole? Well, why do you say that? Because people are saying you're an asshole. Anytime you start people are saying, you're really a lousy piece of garbage reporter.
Bottom feeding.
And it's obvious he's been doing that. I know they can't do. I wouldn't even call him an idiot. I am never talking to you again.
Yeah.
Because first of all, I had to do your job for you.
You're off the list.
I had to get to the main question because you don't have the balls to ask me a question. Second of all, your questions are dumb. You're incompetent.
Let me see your laminate, sir.
You got any comments on this, Denon Dave?
What's that?
You got any comments on this firing?
I got a whole bunch of stuff.
Yep.
We got time?
We got 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. It's an interesting thing. What you said was 100% accurate as far as this was they were waiting for an excuse and they got their excuse. But you know me by now. I like to look at one thing. What do I look at? The numbers. So let's take a look at the numbers for a minute, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Toronto is second in goals per game. They're putting the fucking puck in the net. However, goals against, they're 25th in the league. That means bad defensive breakdowns. It's not just on the goaltending.
Very good.
They're right in the middle. 12th and 13th on power play percentage and penalty kill percentage, which for me are the two stats that tell me most about coaching. Should Carlisle have been fired, in my opinion, at this time? No, and I'll tell you why. They were 8th seed in the playoffs. This was a desperation move by a desperate management group that wanted to get their guys in play, and now they've gotten it. And poor Carlisle is fucking a victim of it.
Yeah,
that's what happened. That's the reality. The numbers back it up. That's what I got.
Do you have Carlisle's actual overall record, by the way?
I don't, unfortunately.
I did before, because
I'm a terrible fucking journalist.
He's well over 500.
I'm a journalist now.
No, he's well over 500. His record was respectable. He got them.
He'll
back
get another
in the
job.
playoffs. His record's respectable. There's no way around that. He got them in the playoffs, which
New Jersey probably needs a fourth
as Dave
coach.
Rose said, nobody was able to do prior to that. Dave Rose's camera froze, and he looks like somebody's from Jacob's Ladder. It's really, really funny.
Hey, I heard,
frozen?
Yeah, it is. It's funny though. I like it.
I heard New Jersey's hiring.
You ever see the Demons of Jacob Ladder? He shakes his head back and forth like this.
I heard New Jersey's hiring coaches.
Yeah, New Jersey.
They could
Real
use a
quick,
fourth.
real quick before we get out of here, because we do got to get out of here, because I have to move on. Some names that have been thrown out. There you go. You came back to us, Dave. Some names that have been thrown out for Carlisle's job are just amazing. Mike Babcock. Okay, great. Yeah, I mean, sure, Shanahan would want to work for Mike Babcock again, or have him work for him again. That would be Jesus. What Leaf fan wouldn't want that? But the some of the surprising ones was Dallas. What's his name? Akins. After that mess over in Toronto or in Edmonton, would there a riot, Dave Rose? Would there be a riot start if they brought that one dope over there, that players coach over there that couldn't get those dopes to align in Edmonton? You know what I'm talking about? Dallas Akins, right?
There could be a good chance.
I would lose my mind if they hired him.
Dave said, though, we've got to take a look at the numbers. They're not really that bad.
No.
They've got to really work on some
issues. Going
issues.
3-7 in the last 10, you can't do
but
that.
And that proves your point before, Dave. They needed they really needed they needed an excuse to fucking can this guy.
And they got it.
Yeah,
they got a bad road trip.
And now I'm gonna move that.
Losing on the road in a time where your job might be in line to get fired.
They were always, you know what? I am absolutely convinced that they were always going to fire this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so.
And I wondered that earlier when they hired Kyle Dubas earlier in the year. So we're going to get a look at our advanced stats team. And one more thing on the advanced stats before we get the hell out of here, because it's time to get the hell out of here. You know, I noticed Ryan Lampert wrote an article today. It's like how the Ducks, who basically don't have anything going for them advanced stats wise, are playing pretty well, and you could reasonably say the Ducks are a contender for the Cup this year. And Ryan Lampert goes on and says, like, some teams are just lucky. You know, hockey has a lot of luck, which I would agree with. Probably more luck than we all are comfortable talking about. But here's the thing. So do advanced stats. When advanced stats go, look, we always go to luck. And here's the thing about friggin' luck or increasing your odds or giving yourself an edge, and I know a little bit about that for Hoker. The guys that can increase their edge, if advanced stats are actually valuable, and you can increase an edge over other teams through finding players that play that have these stats, they will win more often than they lose. The Ducks are winning despite that, so that kind of goes against your theory. We're halfway through the season now. The Ducks were winning last year. The Ducks were winning the year before. Yes, they had playoff rate, and they're winning right now, and they're not an advanced stats team. Edmonton was. I'm starting not to become a believer. I'm starting to lose it because all these experts that'll actually look you in the eye and tell you that you are anti-stats. Like anybody that's like being anti-blue sky. I hate blue skies. I want to see the men. I want them purple and green. You know, it's completely. Look, if these advanced stats guys keep going to luck and luck again, advanced stats should only give you an edge. They're not going to guarantee a victory. Then there's probably even less value than I thought initially. And you can check out Ryan Lampert's article calling the Lucky Ducks over on Puck Daddy. Read that thing. You come back to me and tell me what you think of friggin' advanced stats. Last night in hockey, not just the NHL. Let's go over the NHL first. Toronto. The final, San Jose over Winnipeg, a game I started to watch. I didn't get to finish, unfortunately. They take a Winnipeg 3-2, but nobody cared because everybody was watching the World Junior Championships. In, of course, Toronto last night. Everybody was going nuts, crazy. Canada takes Russia 5-4 in a bit of a nail-biter in the third period. Also, there was a bronze medal game. Slovakia beat Sweden, which is a bit of an upset and says a lot about that goalie, who I can't remember his name, but they gave him a standing ovation over in Toronto. The Canadians stood up, so maybe we got to find out who that kid is and see who drafted him or who's going to draft him. That's it. Slovakia, who probably should not have gotten by the Czech Republic, takes Sweden in the bronze game. Can you believe that, guys? Can you believe it?
Surprising. Not too surprising.
Well, Slovakia, tiny. They were saying just a couple years ago that Slovakia didn't have it anymore.
Good for them.
Maybe they should just do a dual country thing like Trinidad and Tobago or something like that. All right, everybody. Hey, you bastards. Get out of my crease. Get out. Get out. Get out.
People tend to simplify that love isn't always that cry.
Hey, you bastards, go out and check out my Canadian montage in HD. It's unlocked just right now. cares? Dave, you can't do that.
Which one?
You can't do that. I mean, we got to move on. We only got 30 minutes, man.
But if you didn't stop interrupting me, I could have gotten these.
No, Dave, I didn't want to do the tweets. I mean, you did the one tweets, and I was like, okay, let's go.
Don't you want to give a nice balanced view, or is it just all?
No, I want to get it done in 30 minutes. You read